we have got much more on retail coming up, but let us turn our focus to the overall economy and jobs. The government has struggled to really create them. Even after the more than $800 billion stimulus plan, we still have more than 14 million unemployed Americans. Your next guest says that D.C. is simply being short-sighted, and he's got a way to create nearly 500,000 jobs with minimal government subsidies or investment. Always happy to be joined by Boone Pickens, founder and chairman of BP Capital Management. He is with us from Chicago. Boone Pickens, your take on the U.S. economy and what D.C. is or is not doing to revive it and create jobs.
Very simple. Go to the private sector. You can go around the country right now. I was in Williamsport, Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago today, and I can tell you everybody there that wants to work has a job, all doing well there. I was a month ago, I was in Dickinson, North Dakota. Same thing there. Everybody wants a job, has a job. People from Idaho are coming over there working, and around the country there are places where jobs are available, I promise you. And the industry that is providing those jobs is the oil and gas industry. There are jobs in the oil and gas industry, good jobs, and Washington has not said one word about it. They have not focused on where it is and how these jobs are being created, all for the good of this country.
Boone, they say they are, right? We did the stimulus plan. We know what happened about, that federal loan to Solyndra. Some people argue the government shouldn't be in the business of trying to create jobs at all, but your plan, while supported by many, does involve some government subsidies, does it not?
No, the oil and gas industry doesn't have any subsidies. They talk about loopholes, tax breaks, and stuff like that. I don't know what those are. I mean, those are just kind of thrown out there. But no, I don't see. I think the oil and gas industry stands on its own 2 feet and sits on its own bottom. And so it's a solid, those are good jobs around the country.
So when you look at your plan and you talk about natural gas across the country for commercial vehicles, this is not something that is going to take a lot of taxpayer money to get going.
No, you're talking about $1 billion a year for 5 years. Somebody said $5 billion is a lot of money, Boone. That's exactly right. But we'll pass that in the House if they'll put it up for vote, and it'll go over to the Senate and they'll put a pay-for on it. So it won't be any subsidy at all. You can easily put a pay-for on what I'm talking about.
And you and I have talked about the jobs that you believe your plan can create. I've seen some pretty big numbers, Boone. 400,000 plus jobs. Where exactly are those coming from?
Well, what you're talking about doing is putting the 18-wheelers in America on natural gas. It'll save you $2 a gallon on fuel. The truckers are very serious about looking at this. I spoke to 600 of them last week in Nashville, Tennessee, and they are serious people because it saves them a lot of money. It's using a domestic fuel and all. And so where do the jobs come from? 100,000 will be direct jobs, 300,000 indirect jobs to accomplish that. Oh, we've got all the numbers. They're supported and have been looked at closely.
Let's talk about your bill. This bill, Boone, has been all over the place in Washington, D.C. What is the status of the energy bill? Do you think it's going to get passed? Is it going to get voted on? What's the status of this thing?
Well, it's H.R. 1380. It's the Natural Gas Act. Yes, it has 185 co-sponsors. It's split 50-50, Democrats and Republicans. So it's not a partisan issue. Just put it up for vote. That's what I say. Just give it a chance. If it won't pass, hell, throw it in the trash and let's go on to something else.
I want to talk about Saudi Arabia for a second. We had a pretty scary situation, obviously, with this plot that they've uncovered about the potential assassination of the Saudi Arabian ambassador by some, agents, whatever you want to call them, purportedly hired or employed some way by Iran. I know this scares the hell out of you, Boone. What's your take as far as energy and what's going on in Saudi Arabia and also around this plot?
Okay, Saudi Arabia is the largest producing country in the world. They produce almost 10 million barrels of oil a day. Very important to the world. 90 million barrels a day is produced globally. They have about 10 million of it. And here you are, you've got a ruler there that's 86 years old and is not in good health. The Crown Prince is 82 years old. He's not in good health. I don't know what happens if both of these guys die. I mean, where do we go from there? That's a lot of oil that you say, well, it'll just go on and produce like it has in the past. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure what happens there. The Iranians are very close and to it. The Iranians, could have influence on the oil being produced in Saudi Arabia. So I don't know where we go, but I can tell you in the United States, we better get on our own resources. We better get on our own resources. And we have resources to use. So why don't we do it? Why doesn't our leadership take us in the direction of our own resource? 2/3 of our trade deficit every day, every year, comes from the purchase of foreign oil.
I got to ask you, though, we've talked about a lot of serious topics, Boone. It's Friday before I let you go. Are you guaranteeing victory for Oklahoma State over Oklahoma this year? Are you going to guarantee victory for the Cowboys on this program?
We're playing Texas Saturday. We don't play OU until December the 3rd.
I'm being optimistic here for you.
I know, but I haven't even thought about OU. I don't even look to see who they play every week. That's not true. But we got a tough game tomorrow with Texas. And then we get Missouri, we get Baylor, Texas Tech.
Sounds like you thought a little bit about who they're playing. You just listed out the schedule.
But I haven't thought about OU, though.
Boone, we had to get that in there. A lot of serious stuff, but why not a little Friday college football? Boone Pickens, great to chat with you again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, and we didn't even talk about Twitter. All right, coming up shortly, Herb, a CNBC exclusive, the White House Chief of Staff, Bill Daley, sits down with our own John Harwood and takes a shot at Wall Street for being too sensitive. Thin-skinned traders, perhaps. We're going to hear more on what that is all about coming up in a few minutes.